All right, my friend, let's see how you did in this game, all right? So you played e3. Is that to get your bishop and your queen out? That's great, but wouldn't your pawn be controlling a little more space if you went 2 squares? Now you might be afraid that the pawn's not being guarded at all, but it's also not being attacked at all. So most players go ahead and grab more space. If you're able to get both pawns side by side, that's the ultimate position for both of your pawns, okay? On Chess Kid, we call it the snowplow, okay? But you live in Texas, right? So you don't know what a snowplow is,
like
do you?
a road bulldozer?
Yeah. Okay, maybe something that pushes sand out of the way, whatever's common in Texas, okay? So next time, go 2 squares, okay? There's no reason not to. So he played e3, he played e5. Now you could play e4, and now you're playing black. Does that make sense to you? You wasted a move on purpose? Okay, it's high-level thinking. You played the move d4, which is good. You are going 2 squares now, that's what I want to see, okay? And the guy decided to defend his pawn. Now this is interesting. When he brings his knights out before his center pawns, you always have the option to keep on coming. If you push your pawn, are you making the knight go to a good square or a bad one? Let's figure it out. Don't answer right away, okay? If the knight goes there, good or bad? That's bad, yeah. If he goes there, that looks okay, but if you put up the no parking sign, where does he have to go now? He only has 1 safe square. What is it? That's not safe. The rook captures him. Where would he go? Don't feel like you have to answer right away. You can take your time. Yeah, and that's obviously a bad square, right? So you're not worried about the move knight to b4. Now knight to a5 is even worse. When a knight goes to the side of the board, that's knight on the rim is dim. You know that, right? Okay. If you attack the knight, you're going to win him. How do you attack that knight? Yeah, very good. And it's always good to attack with the smallest piece. If you attack with the bishop, he could guard the knight. And if you take and he takes, it's just an equal trade. If you play the move b4, where can that knight go? Nowhere. So I'm guessing he's either going to go back home or back to this square, but that blocks in all of his pieces, right? So if you can attack the guy's knight and every single option is bad for him, then it's a good move for you, right? Now, occasionally when you attack a piece, you're helping it go to a good square. We don't want to do that, but he has no good squares, okay? So I like this move d5 a lot, okay? And if you watch any videos on the snowplow on Chess.com, we have a lot of instances where you make knights go to bad squares because your center pawns are coming forward, okay? You played bishop c4. Now that's a good developing move. I know you're a big fan of getting checkmates on f7, right? But what happens if I get the snowplow? I put my pawn side by side. If you take the pawn, how am I going to win your bishop?
You're gonna...
If you take, what am I going to capture your bishop with?
Either the knight or the bishop.
Okay, let's look at it more carefully. I only have 1 piece that can capture the bishop. Which one is it? On the very next turn, which black piece can take your bishop?
The queen.
The queen. I don't have other options. Okay, it's got to be the queen. So you don't want to lose the bishop for a pawn, do you? If I played the move d5 here, your bishop would have to run away. Okay, so it's a good idea, but if I played this move, it's not going to work. So grab the space when you have the ability to do so. Okay, so he played bishop c4, and he took, and you're going for that checkmate. Well, I hope it works, but if it doesn't, it costs you a pawn, okay? I would just take the pawn back, to be honest with you, okay? You're kind of rolling the dice, you're hoping the checkmate works. But if it doesn't work, didn't you lose this pawn? It's kind of like playing the lottery, okay? And kids don't play the lottery, do they? It's against the law, isn't it? You gotta be in it. In Texas, maybe. I don't know the law in Texas. Okay, so queen f3, he did defend the checkmate, and guess what? You lost the pawn, okay? Was it worth it? Yeah, don't play the lottery, it's not good for you, okay? So you took. He took, okay, he's still got 2 pawns for 1. Now this check looks sweet. Aren't you aiming at the king and the knight? Looks like you're gonna win the knight. Can you find me a move for black that gets out of check and saves the knight? Find me a move that would do both of those things. How about block with the knight? Where can the knight move to block the check? Yeah, and even though you can take it, he just takes right back. Now the grandmaster move is this one. Why can't you take the knight? It's pinned, yeah. And I want to trade because I'm ahead in material. And by the way, if you don't trade, I'm gonna take here and do a family fork. It's gonna be really bad, okay? So all I'm showing you is that not every fork wins material, okay? So you played here. You know what that means? You gave your opponent a chance to be an absolute superstar. There's a winning move here for black, although if you haven't seen this pattern before, it's a little hard to find. We're gonna work through it together. Are your king and queen on the same diagonal? They are. What color diagonal is that, light or dark? So So my first thought is to find my dark squared bishop. It's right there. Can my dark squared bishop land on that diagonal? Yeah. If your queen runs away, it's against the rules. You could take, but you know what I've done? I have distracted your queen away from a fork square. It's a fork we just talked about. Black to move and win the queen. You're gonna find it. What's black's winning move here? Exactly, and I fork all your dudes, don't I? So it's cool. I'm combining pin with fork, and no matter what you do, your queen's a goner, right? Okay. Why was I able to find that trick so fast? Because I've done 30,000 puzzles on Chess.com, I promise you. Okay. So he played the natural move, which guards the knight, but he missed this really cool winning move. It's not cool for you, it's cool for him. Okay. So bishop c5, and you played a4. Okay, so your plan of checkmate didn't work. And now you seem a little bit lost. You're pushing pawns on the side of the chessboard, okay?
No, I was thinking I was gonna push me. I was gonna do this.
Right. Okay. Let's see. A good way of determining if your plan is a good one, if you spend 3 moves threatening something, and I can stop it in 1 move, then it's not a good plan, okay? You went 1, 2, 3. Now, first of all, I could take your queen. Now, you probably meant to put your queen there, didn't you? You're threatening checkmate. Can I stop your checkmate in 1 move? What does that tell you about your plan? Not so good, right? Okay. You could have actually done this. Watch this cool idea. What's guarding this bishop for black? Nothing. You could sacrifice your bishop for a pawn, and when I take back, you could eat the bishop back. And you only win a pawn, but it's a sure thing, right? So you keep rolling the dice, I want the sure thing. That's how we differ, okay? You want to play the lottery, I want the free dollar in my hand, okay? That's how I roll. All right, so pawn to a4. He should probably castle. He went here, it's not a bad move. And your queen went to h3, and your queen's running all over the chessboard, right? What's that guy doing? What's that guy doing? How about that guy, or that guy? Okay. If you were a general in charge of an army, would you send 1 or 2 troops to war? You want the whole army there, don't you? And right now you're only using 2 guys, right? Now, he took here, which is a nice fork. He could also play d5, discovered attack, and winning your bishop. So he has multiple good moves because he has so many pieces in the game. So knight takes check. Your king ran away. He took your rook. You moved your queen again. Man, if it works, I'll be proven wrong, but I'm not really wrong, okay? This is the strategy you should use for all of your games, okay? d5 is a good way to block your bishop. Also, castles is a good move. He went back. Okay, that stops the checkmate. Bishop to a2, all right. At least you're consistent. I'm not saying you don't have a plan, I'm just saying you need more pieces to make your plan work. That's the theme of our lesson today, okay? So you played bishop to g5 to pin his knight, and he played bishop g4 to attack your queen. Now you could actually take the knight, because if I take back, you win the bishop. It's very complicated. Now if you take the knight and he takes your queen, could you take his queen? Then he could take your pawn, and it's a big mess. We're not going to analyze all that because it's too crazy. So bishop to g4, you took here, and he took back, then you took his queen, and he took back. So it was like a giant trade. You each got a queen and a bishop, didn't you? Now what's the knight going to capture next? Yeah, you might want to like move your knight here and guard the pawn. If he takes there, won't that be a fork if you're king and your rook? It's like a mirror image of what happened on this side of the board, isn't it? Okay. So things aren't going so well if you don't stop this move. Knight takes. So you played b4, and he did take, and your king moved, and he took here. Now we're gonna fast forward 20 more moves. He ended up winning the game, but you're out of rooks and you're out of big pieces, right? What's the big thing that we need to do better in the next game? What do you think? Yeah, what's one big lesson you learned from the game? Yeah, not to go for Scholar's Main, okay? Because you're attacking with 2 pieces against my entire army, okay? You didn't get your king safe, you never got your knights in the game at all. I know it's cool to win in 4 moves, but you need to get your whole army out. Even if Scholar's Mate works, did you learn anything? If you checkmate the guy in 4 moves, do you learn anything about chess? No. So you've got to learn to win a little bit more slowly, okay? There's a reason that the best chess players in that room are playing the longest games, because they're getting their pieces out very slowly, and they're attacking only when all of their army is out, okay? If you can remember that lesson, you're going to do wonders in your next couple of games, okay? All right, thanks for learning.